It's been about 1.5 years roughly since I got the Wowgo Mini 2. It's been a great shortboard for all my short range rides and has been still holding together aside from normal wear and tear. I would say I have around 500 miles on it or so, but it's hard for me to tell since the remote has reset the mileage a few times. But I decided it was time to upgrade, which brings us now to the Mini 2S. The Mini 2S has been around for almost a year now. Wowgo has put some well-appreciated improvements into their shortboard. Let's take a look at the specs comparison between the two. The 2S is using the same deck, wheels, and trucks, along with other components. The notable changes is the belt drive and the slightly higher watt-hour battery. The battery is now a 12S 260 watt-hour using Samsung 30Q cells. This may not seem like a lot, but remember, this is a shortboard. I've always considered the Mini 2 to be one of the best visually designed shortboards. The 2S still follows the same grip tape and deck underside pattern, but with a more neutral gray color. It looks good, but I think the previous purple color is more my preference. But just like before, the deck, enclosure, grip tape look better than the competition, in my opinion. The deck is still the same, which is a stiff Canadian maple deck at 29.5 inches. The widest point is 9 inches, so you may find your feet overhanging a little bit. It can take some time, but you will find the sweet spot for your feet. The 2S packs quite a punch, quite a bit more than the Mini 2, and especially noticeable on the hills. Since this is a belt drive, I do of course notice the 2S to have less free roll and just feels less smooth overall. However, it's been pretty easy to adapt. 2S is also more notably audible due to its belt drive. Take a listen. The 2S has also improved by using a grip foam instead of regular grip tape. This plus the fact that you can use 4 wheels and not a sleeve help a little bit with comfort. However, a shortboard is always going to feel pretty rough compared to an electric longboard. Because the board is so short, it's great for turning tight corners. It also has a little kicktail to assist as well. The standard 90mm wheels at 78A durometer are not bad. They are soft enough to get through most paved situations. They don't seem to agree with grass though. But remember, since this is a belt drive, we can use different wheels. More on this later. Since the 2S has a bigger battery, it has increased the weight from 15.3 to 17 pounds, a weight increase of 1.7. This may not seem like much, but for shortboards, every pound matters. Other shortboards offer larger batteries, but they end up being much heavier. I think Wowgo found a good balance point of weight to battery size. I've carried this board by the front truck and on my back for long periods of time, which does get tiresome. So I can't see myself carrying a shortboard much heavier than this. The ESC is hobby wing and the remote is a basic remote commonly seen in other boards. 2 buttons and a roller, 4 speed modes. It works as it should. Small nitpick is I kinda wish it had the Wowgo label on it so I know what it belongs to. There's also a smartphone app that you can use to connect. The app lets you set acceleration, speed, and also lets you change the gear ratio values when you change out the pulleys and wheels. It's also nice there's a percent value for the battery since the remote just uses standard bars for battery life. Now that I've gone over what the board offers, let's see if we can apply a few upgrades. First, the bushings. Aftermarket bushings are usually always superior, so I put on some Riptide cranks. Flat washers in the front, cupped in the rear. Next, the wheels. I wanted to try putting on some 105mm mad wheels using a 40-tooth pulley. Surprisingly, they fit without the need of an additional riser pad. Still no wheel bite. The mad wheels help a little bit with the vibrations, but it's still a fairly rough ride. I still think I prefer them to cloud wheels and the stock 90mm. Wowgo on their website has an advertised best range of 18.6 miles. Here's what I got from my range test using my watch GPS. For the 90mm I got just over 12.5 miles, and the mad wheels just over 10. My weight with gear was at 180 pounds during these tests. The routes were both fairly flat and temperatures were in the high 70s. I was expecting maybe a little more, but it's still over the 10-mile mark, which is good. I did run into one complication around the 100-mile mark. The screws on the rear motor assembly all came loose, as well as losing a nut. so you may want to redo all your screws in this area with a thread locker. Certainly not the first time this has occurred for me, but this should not happen in a production board. Aside from better assembly, one thing I would like to see added in future versions is integrated lights. Both the Mini 2 and 2S have no lights of any kind. I am seeing a lot of companies adding lights built directly into the deck, but I have yet to see this on a shortboard other than the X-Way Wave NASA. I believe Wowgo is working on a longboard with this kind of lighting, so maybe they will add it in their shortboards one day. Even though this would no doubt raise the price, I would love to see something like this on a shortboard. The 2S is actually a pretty good upgrade overall to the Mini 2. I would also say that it's probably one of the better shortboards you can get due to the good balance of battery to weight and its attractive styling. The current price of the 2S on the Wowgo website at this time of this video is $549, while the Mini 2 starts at $449. Add on an extra $100 if you want cloud wheels. If I were to recommend one over the other, it would be the 2S. The overall improvements make it worth it. The only reason to get the Mini 2 is if you really wanted to have hub motors and the lighter weight. Let me know in the comments what features or changes you would like to see in future shortboards. Thank you again for watching. Until next time.